What's up everyone, Danny Lightning back with another video. Today we're going over Warbots Update 10.4. We got all the new stuff and we're going to talk about it, and I'm going to give you my opinions on it as well. So the first thing is the new Condor robot. I imagine this thing is going to be insane. When you destroy the physical shields, it restores some of your durability. So destroying its shields makes it stronger. That's crazy. But they do say this thing is going to be a glass cannon, so it's probably going to have huge firepower on the ability and everything else, but it's going to be super squishy and it's going to die very easy if it's a true glass cannon. So the ability is going to last for 12 seconds and it's going to have a 15-second cooldown, and you can see the robot stats right there. They say 2 lights, 1 heavy. It's only going to have 300,000 hit points. Now I don't know if that's maxed out or if that's a level 1 non-upgraded robot. Either way, 300,000 is pretty low. But it sounds like it's just going to be a really squishy, longer range or mid-range attack bot is what we're probably going to want to use it for. It's not telling us what the ability, you know, the distance. It's not telling us the distance on the ability or anything like that. So all we got is some very basic information. So will this thing become meta? I don't know. Glass cannons usually do not, but it might. Next, we have the new weapons. There's the Howler. These are resonance weapons. We got the Howler. We have the Screamer. And that's a light weapon and a heavy weapon, but it doesn't look like they're giving us a medium weapon. So there's no matching medium, at least not right now. Maybe on a future update that will come out. I always hate when they don't give you 3 matching weapons, right? In my opinion, there should always be a medium, a light, and a heavy of everything that comes out, and I really wish they would all come out at the exact same time. There is going to be a pilot coming out for the new robot. This is James Veloci, and it says Condor deals additional damage. The bonus stacks up to 5 times for each of Condor's shields that are destroyed during flight. So basically, as you get your shields destroyed, it gives you more damage, is what this pilot's going to do, up to 5 stacks. So I imagine this is going to be one of those robots that you're probably going to play from like 500, 600, 800, 12,000 meters away or something like that. So I don't know, we'll find out. Maybe it's going to be fast enough that you can fly in, get really close, and fly back out before the ability ends. I'm not really sure, but my guess is when this thing is on the ground, you're going to have to be very careful with it. You're going to have to learn to use cover. You're going to have to play it kind of like I would play an Ao Jun or something, or a Hawk, where you just go in, fly out, land back behind cover, and try and stay safe, because on the ground it's probably going to die very easily. Next, we have a new drone called the Wave, and basically this drone is going to give you more speed. Now, every time your physical shield gets broken, it's going to give you an Aegis shield instead. And this is going to be crazy, right? This can be triggered up to 10 times per battle, but every time they break one of your physical shields, you get another energy shield. So this thing is going to have physical and energy shields on the new robot, if you get the robot and the drone. And I would assume, like, if you put this on a Lancelot, since it's got a physical shield, it might work on something like that as well. So this is really going to be a drone for robots with physical shields only. This drone is going to have a built-in machine gun weapon, and it's going to give you more durability at the same time. So it's basically a attack, a durability, and a physical shield drone, plus you're going to get some movement speed and all kinds of stuff. So this is probably going to be a really good drone, especially if your robot has a physical shield. Next up, we are going to have the Ultimate Griffin. So this is a new ultimate robot, and every time it jumps, it's going to blind people. So it's a Griffin that's probably going to have a whole bunch of hit points. It's probably going to be really hard to kill. My guess is this thing is going to be a tank, and it's going to blind you when it jumps. So this thing is probably going to be insane. It is going to have 4 medium weapons. It looks like, I guess it's going to have 390,000 durability. Again, I don't know if that's level 1 or maxed out. That's probably going to be level 1. It's going to have 46 kilometers per hour movement speed, 10% damage bonus boost for 7 seconds after you're doing your jump. So after you jump, not only are you going to blind people, you're also going to get a damage boost. And when the robot's Mark III, that 10% boost goes up to a 20% boost. So that's probably going to be nutso crazy. Next, we have the Ultimate Storm, which is just going to be a very powerful shotgun. There's no special effects or anything like that. Just a really powerful shotgun weapon that's going to have a really fast reload time. So I expect this to be crazy. It's probably going to be just as good as the other Ultimate shotguns, except for this one's not going to lock you down. I'm not sure if it's going to do more or less damage, but my guess is it's going to be a beast. A pure beast. A destroyer of worlds. But we'll find out pretty soon. There's going to be a new mothership turret added to the game, and this thing has a sonic weapon built in, and it looks like there's going to be a big sonic area of effect that comes out and just damages all kinds of stuff around it. So this is going to be a new attack turret with sonic weapons for your mothership, and my guess is this is also going to be redonkulous, but we'll find out. So next they're going to start adding the anti-cheat system. And it doesn't really say a whole lot about what it's going to be on, but they did post something the other day, and it sounds like they're going to start off by adding this to the PC accounts. And they're going to be seeing how it works on the PC account. So I think Steam is going to get this first. So yeah, the PC platforms are getting this first, and then they're going to be adding this to Android a little bit later after they test it out and all that good stuff. When this is installed, it will automatically install on your computer, and it says the anti-cheat will only be running while the game is running, so it's not going to be running around in the background and stuff when the game's off, or at least that's what's supposed to be happening. I don't know, some people love the idea of this, some people hate the idea of this. I don't really understand anti-cheat stuff that much. All I know is it's going to prevent hackers from hacking, it's going to block them, it's going to make so they can't play, and possibly even ban their accounts unless they're, turning their hacks off or whatever. So if you're hacking, I suggest you turn your hacks off and stop being a turd taco, because, hey, nobody likes a hacker except for other hackers, and that's not good. There is going to be a new community event coming up, and you're going to have to capture beacons, guys. Beacons. Everybody should be capturing beacons when you're playing beacon games. A lot of people don't. A lot of people drop in, they go run to the back corner, and they hide like a bunch of wussies in the back corner, and they don't get any beacons, and then your team loses because there's 3 or 4 people back there cowering in the corner instead of getting beacons, and they wonder why they're losing beacon games. Well, it's called beacon for a reason. Beacons in the name for a reason. You have to get and hold beacons. You don't go stand in the back corner and expect to win a beacon game. Think about it. But it looks like this is going to work with Eva Life, Icarus, and Space Tech robots, and the more beacons you catch, the further you're going to get. I don't really know how this works, but I think it's really good that they're coming up with some sort of event that's going to force people to finally go out and get beacons if they want to do well on the event, because all these freaking campers in beacon modes are not helping out the team. They're just hurting the team. Like, don't freaking camp. Don't camp in the back corner when you're playing beacon games. Don't play snipers. The worst thing is when I drop in and the first 3 robots I see next to me are snipers. That's like, oh my god. That means there's going to be like me and one other guy getting killed while we're trying to grab beacons, while these guys are standing in the back corner crying, going, I don't want my robot to die. Yeah, I just don't understand. If you don't want to get beacons, go play Team Deathmatch or go play Free-for-All. Go play some sort of game mode that does not have beacons if you're not interested in catching and holding and protecting your beacons so the enemy team can't come over, take them, and then win the game from you. So yeah, beacon people. We need more of them. Definitely. This event will be good. Alright, so there's the little friends and squad redesign. They just redesigned something on the game. That's not even really worth mentioning. We'll look at it in a second, but there's also balance changes. Alright, here's the big thing. The balance changes are coming to the game. So Curry's taking a very big hit. I think the Curry is still going to be pretty good, but one thing, his turrets are only going to have 350 meters now and not 600 meters, so you got to be really close to somebody for his turrets to hit you. That's a big deal right there. Now the turrets are going to get 30% less damage, so basically they're just nerfing the turrets, and I think the Curry is still going to be awesome. He's also getting some buffs. He's going to have better movement speed. It looks like a shorter cooldown or something like that, so I think the Curry is still going to be awesome. It's just not going to have as strong or as long of a range on the turrets is all. So Curry, I think we're going to be fine with this. I don't think it's going to hurt the robot. You're just going to have to learn to play it a little bit differently, and it's probably still going to be amazing. So Crisis is getting a small nerf. He's going to take 2 seconds longer to go into stealth. Not a big deal. The Crisis will still be fine, I'm sure. 2 more seconds, I can deal with that. No big deal. Now the Dagon's getting reduced durability. It's already squishy as it is, so I don't know about this one. But it is getting more regeneration of the shield, meaning it's going to have a stronger shield, a little less durability, a little less speed, and I don't know, the shield's not going to last as long, but it's probably still going to be pretty good as long as somebody doesn't hit you with the shield breaker, because then you're going to die faster. That robot does rely on the shield to keep it alive, so getting a stronger shield is not necessarily a bad thing, but the problem with the Dagon is everybody's running shield breakers anyways, so I don't really play mine because everybody just shield breaks it and kills it, so now it's going to be even squishier. So if there wasn't such a thing as shield breaker, the Dagon would still probably be a great robot, but shield breaker kind of ruins it in my opinion, so I'm not so sure. This one we won't know until we get to play it, whether it's going to be good or bad. So the Inquisitor robot is getting reduced cooldown, so that's cool, but nobody plays the Inquisitor anyway. It's not a great robot, unfortunately. The Hades is getting increased durability. I think that's going to be awesome, so yeah. Hades durability, amazing. I love the Hades. I mean, again, if you get shield broken, that sucks, but if you're getting increased durability, it might not matter as much. So this might actually make Hades come back. This might make Hades come back. We don't know. We'll try it out. It's going to be one of the first things that I test because I absolutely love the Hades. It's one of my favorite robots ever. Now, Jaeger is getting a big old buff. He's going to be doing a lot more damage, but the Jaeger is still going to suck in my opinion, and I'm going to tell you why right now. Jaeger has this really amazing, super strong shield, but the second somebody hits you with shield breaker, or the second somebody teleports or runs inside of your shield, you are squishy, you are dead before you even know what happened. It's just like, dead, right? That fast. If somebody gets inside your shield or shield breaks you, dead. That robot has 0 durability. It's a terrible robot, and that buff is not going to help it whatsoever unless you're able to somehow find a way to not be hit by anybody ever. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's going to be a good addition to that robot. I think it's still going to suck, but I guess we'll play it and try it out at some point after the buff takes place. Leech is getting a buff of increased movement speed, so that might be pretty cool. I think I cut him off there, right? Increased movement speed for the Leech. I'll take it. Leech is a cool robot. I don't think it's going to be good after that, but it will be a little bit better. So there's that. So the Lynx is getting increased cooldown, so it's getting a much longer cooldown on the ability. Instead of 9 seconds, it's going to be 11. When it goes into the ability, it's going to get a big speed boost, but it's going to get an initial reduction of speed as well. So it's going to be slower when it's not in the ability, but when you go into the ability, it's going to get a speed boost that kind of makes up for that, and a longer ability cooldown. I think the Lynx will still be pretty good. I don't think it's going to really hurt it that bad. You're just going to have to learn to play it a little bit differently, but they're not taking any durability away. They're just kind of changing a few things around with the speed and the cooldown. So yeah, I think Lynx will still be fine afterwards. Next, I cut it off again. We're going to have the Nightingale having reduced cooldown, which is pretty cool, and it's going to get more speed in the air. So Nightingale is a pretty neat healer. I wish they would have added some kind of durability boost or some defense points or something to it, because it is a little bit squishy, but if you play it well, it's a really good healer. I mean, that's going to be great to have the extra speed in the air because it's slow. I think we might start seeing a few Nightingales come back to the game because, hey, they're cool robots. So next we have the Ochikochi. It's not going to be able to kick you back across the map as far anymore. It's going to have less speed when it's in the ability, and it's not going to have as much DOT. So it's going to be a little bit squishier and a little bit slower, and it's not going to knock you off the boat anymore or into the water off of the bridge or something like that, or at least it's going to be harder for it to do that. So I don't know, I think the Ochikochi will be fine after the nerf. We won't know till we try it, but going by that, I'm not too worried about it. It'll probably be pretty similar. It's just not going to be as fast, and it's not going to kick you off the boat. So, alright, cool. That should be fine, I think. They're giving Raptor some nerfs. They're reducing a whole bunch of stuff, so he's going to get increased movement speed, which he probably doesn't need. He's already fast enough. They're reducing the damage of the built-in weapons, reducing the damage from the splash, and they reduce the amount of damage reflected by the reflector shield. So that's definitely going to be good. I think the Raptor is still going to be a nightmare. It's still going to be a beast. You're not going to be able to kill it. So yeah, the Raptor is still going to be an amazing robot, I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, right? I'm just taking guesses or speculation until we actually try this out, but I think the Raptor is still going to be a top-notch beast. And the Revenant, when he goes into his ability, he's getting a buff where he's not really going to take, he's only going to take 1% gray damage when he's in the ability. Revenant's a cool robot. It's a really good tank if you build it and play it right. So the Revenant's going to be even better now. That's going to be amazing. The Shenlao is getting a few small balance changes, but I'm going to tell you what, I think the Shenlao is going to still be a little beast. It's still going to be really annoying. I mean, they're basically just making so you can get inside of its shield now, and it's going to have, you know, it's not really going to be that different, honestly. So basically, you're going to lose a little bit of shield regeneration. You're going to have a couple of extra seconds in between each teleport, and people can now walk inside of your shield. So I don't know. I think if you play the Shenlao right, it's going to be 100% fine, and it's still going to be really good. Alright, so now we're getting down to the robot weapons section, and there's about a million different things on here. So this is going to take forever to go over all this. So I'm just going to put this up on the screen. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff on here. This is one of those deals where the weapons are a lot harder to figure out than the robots as far as speculating what's going to happen, but some of these don't look too bad. I mean, it's pretty cool that sparks are getting changed, like subduers, reducing the effective range from 600 to 500, so that kind of sucks, but they're increasing the shot intervals. I think the subduer is still going to be crazy, crazy good. The magnetars, I mean, it's getting a little less damage, but it's getting more lockdown. That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be bad. They're reducing the damage on the hurricane. The hazard, you know, the radiation weapons like the hazards, they're going to shoot slower, but do more damage, which might actually balance things out a little bit. So that might not be so bad. The flux is getting increased ammo, so flux might be a little bit better, but flux is very weak on the damage, so I think it's still going to suck. Avalanche is getting increased ammo. Could care less. That weapon kind of sucks. Don't like it. Athos Parthos is getting a longer reload time. That's gonna kind of hurt that weapon a little bit, I would say. I guess the magnetars, that worries me. I love those weapons. I wish they weren't nerfing them, but I guess the blah, 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 I can't talk today. I guess the more lockdown, that's what I'm trying to spit out right there, would be a lot nicer. Now, Jaw Claw Talon, I don't know. Reduce reload time. They shoot the ammo so slow and they do very little damage. I don't think that's going to help those one bit. The Mirana, Cheyenne, and Jotun getting increased burst intervals, so they're going to probably shoot a little bit slower. I think that'll still be okay. So a little bit less damage per second. That's fine. I'm not worried about that. The Ryo, the Crime, the Rhyme, the Cryo, and the Glacier are getting reduced reload times, not by very much, and they're going to have a 350 meter range instead of 300, so that's actually going to be pretty cool. The Scotty, Snare, and Hill are getting reduced reload times. I don't think that's really going to help much. Those weapons pretty much suck right now, so I don't know. We'll have to test them out, but I'm pretty sure they're still going to suck. The Shifeng weapons increase burst interval. They're getting increased full reload time, and they're getting reduced damage. So the Shifeng type of weapons, that's probably going to be a pretty big hit on those. They're probably not going to do that much damage, unfortunately. We got Spark getting increased ammo capacity. If they would do something with the lock-on the Spark and the Scourge and the Calamity, that would be great. I don't think that's really going to help the spark. I don't think anybody's going to be playing it because the lock-on sucks on those things. This is definitely all stuff we're going to have to test out to see how it does, because a lot of these changes on paper don't look so bad, but we'll find out. We'll have to play them and check them all out. So let's move on to the next thing. All right, so now we got the Titan nerfs. This is I think the Eiffel, they're changing a lot of stuff to the Eiffel, right? The cooldown, I mean, everything is getting changed. I've got a feeling the Eiffel is going to be removed off the battlefield. I don't think we're going to see very many people playing Eiffels. I think the Eiffel is going to be taking a really big hit here. Now, the Heimdall is getting several different improvements. I do think the Heimdall might make a comeback for the first time. The Heimdall might actually be good and worth playing after we get these balance changes. I mean, that's something I'm actually excited about. Those Heimdall buffs, that's one of the first things I'm going to be testing when these buffs go live, is the Heimdall and the Hades. I want to know what the Heimdall is going to do. I want to know what the Hades is going to do, because I have a feeling both of those are going to be awesome after they get buffed. So next we have the Luchador. This is going to be a big hit for the Luchador. He's going to get reduced defense points. I mean, he's going from 170 to 120, so that's a pretty big dip in defense points, and reduction of durability from 5 to 8 seconds when he gets the shield. So we're losing 3 seconds of that shield time. I think the Luchador is still going to be playable, and it's still probably going to be pretty good, but you know, it can't stand up to something like the Mauler or somebody with the new shotgun. So the Luchador is definitely taking a big hit. That's one thing I'm going to have to test to really know how it's doing, but I do think it's going to be a big downfall or a big downgrade overall. I'm pretty sure we'll still be able to play it, but I think a lot of people probably won't want to play it if they don't have to after this. Alright, so Rook's getting reduced durability on the front of shield to be the same as the rear shields, and he's getting reduced repair from shield replacement. So basically, it's taking a pretty big hit. The shields are probably going to be weak and squishy, and he's not going to get as much repair. So, Rook's probably going to be out. I think Rook's going to be one of those deals where everybody forgets about it and moves on to something else. We'll test it. We'll find out. I could be wrong. Nodens is getting a reduced cooldown from the disposal. That's not really... I mean, that's nice and all, but that's a very teeny-weeny little ability that doesn't do a whole lot of anything. I mean, it does something, but I don't know. Not a great buff for the Nodens, but hey, Nodens is getting a buff, and the Nodens is currently a pretty good Titan. Last couple times I played it, it was way more durable than I expected, and it does a lot of healing, so it's a great support robot if you're willing to stay in the back and use cover and not go out and fight and just focus on healing people. Nodens is a cool Titan. And then Sharinga's getting an increased slowing effect from 30 to 45 on the ability that slows you down. Whatever. Sharinga, nobody really plays that in Champion League. It's a boring, squishy Titan. I mean, very few people use that thing right. Very few people are good with it. If somebody's good with the Sharinga, that's great, but the average person misuses the ability, and it actually hurts your team. I've seen so many people mess your team up by using that ability incorrectly. You're just ready to kill somebody. He puts it into a phase shift. Now you can't kill it, and then the guy comes out of the phase shift. He heals all of his health, and he comes back and murders your team. So Sharinga players, I absolutely hate seeing Sharinga players on my team because they almost always use the ability that gives the other team an advantage. They save the other team's life 90% of the time instead of use it when it was needed. So yeah, Sharingas, no thank you. Get those things off the battlefield. That's my opinion. Now we have a big list of Titan weapons. The Crate and the Basilisk are getting increased ammo. I mean, that's cool and all, but don't love those weapons, especially if you're lagging. It's really hard to hit anything when you're lagging with those weapons, but some people will probably still like it. Dazzler and Lantern increased ammo. That's going to be nice. I mean, those are okay weapons. So if you got Dazzlers and Lanterns laying around, you might want to think about bringing some of those back out. The Discordia and the Telemus weapons are getting increased shot intervals, so they're basically going to shoot a little slower. The rate of fire will no longer increase when firing consistently, so they're not going to do damage anywhere near as fast. They're just going to do a lot less damage per second, but I think they're still going to be really good weapons overall. It's just going to take a lot longer to empty your magazine. Then we're going to have the Gargantua and Pantagruels getting increased cone angle of which the weapons deal damage, so I mean, that's nice. It's going to spread out more, and you can be able to hit stuff more of an angle, but they're still weapons that don't really do any damage. They'll heal the heck out of you, but you won't do any damage to anybody with those weapons is the thing. So if you're just trying to play support and you're all about healing, I mean, sure, that's cool, but don't expect to do any damage when playing those at all. I've been playing them a lot on my Mauler just because nobody can kill it. It doesn't do anything other than nobody can kill it. I can stand in the front and soak up all the damage from the other people while my teammates stand behind me. And it's cool for being like a super tank and a damage eater. You know, you can be the meat shield or whatever you want to call it with those, but you're not going to damage anybody. Next, we have the Inferno and the Pyro. They're getting reduced damage and increase to the cooling period when the weapons overheat. So make sure you don't let those weapons overheat. It's going from 2 seconds to 5 seconds. That's going to be awful. If you let those Infernos and Pyros overheat, it's going to take forever to get your ammo back. So don't. I said don't. I said don't do it. Don't let them overheat. And the amount of damage reduction doesn't look that bad, but that's one of those things I'm not fully going to understand until we get to play it. Alright, so the barrel drone is being changed. The barrel drone pretty much kind of sucks. It's not really a great drone, but it's going to give you some extra speed, I guess. 120%. Wait. Speed 120%. Wait. What are they doing here? Hold on, let me reread this. Alright, so at 30% durability, if I'm getting this correctly, you're going to get the additional speed bonus. So yeah, that's not great. Iron Hearth, reduced cooldown of Frozen Hearth from 20 to 10. So that's kind of cool. I mean, if you're playing that on a Revenant, that's going to be awesome. That makes the Revenant really, really good, actually. There's not a lot of robots I would play an Iron Hearth on, but I would easily throw that on a Revenant any day. So the Kestrel is going to reduce the amount of death mark and add a time limit for the on-kill speed is 115 seconds. So honestly, the Kestrel is still going to be great. I mean, it's taking a hit. It's going to have a couple of downgrades, but after reading that, no big deal. I'll play that all day long and I'll be happy with it still. So yeah, I don't think the Kestrel nerf is going to be that bad. If you want it for the healing and the all that junk, hey, the Kestrel is still going to be really good for stealth robots. Now, the Pascal drone nerf, this is something that, man, we're going to have to play this. There's all kinds of changes, and I'm not 100% sure how this is going to affect it. I've got a bad feeling that the changes we're seeing right here is going to get reduced repair, reduced bonage from on-kill assist, and they're changing the threshold of the extra fix. I mean, that's a little bit hard for me to understand. As a dyslexic guy, they're just throwing me a bunch of numbers everywhere, and I can't make heads or tails out of that, but I've got a bad feeling that it's going to be, I think they're trashing the Pascal. It may not be that good anymore. That's what I'm seeing here is we just threw that down into the toilet. But I could be wrong. We'll play it, we'll test it out, we'll find out. Next, the Shy Drone is getting reduced duration of its last stand from 5 seconds down to 3. That's really going to suck. I'm probably not going to be using the Shy Drone anymore because that 5-second last stand was nice. A 3-second last stand is cool, but it barely feels like it does anything. And the on-load durability speed is going to be, once per deployment. So you're going to, I don't know. Shy Drone, it's probably not going to be very good now either. And they're going to be reducing the autopilot and the Zoe. I mean, whatever, I guess. I don't use those pilots. I don't know much about them. I don't know if they're good now. I don't use weapon-specific pilots because anytime you change those weapons, you got to re-roll or even put a new pilot on there, and it's just a waste of resources in my opinion. So anything that's weapon-specific for a pilot or a pilot skill, I avoid that like the plague because I know for a fact I'm not going to be keeping the same weapons on the same robot 24 hours a day, right? I change stuff around. So for me, it's not a good thing to run any pilot that's weapon specific or a pilot skill that's weapon specific. And it says there's going to be a bunch of technical fixes. So they're going to be fixing a bunch of bugs and stuff, but that says to be announced. So we don't really know what's been fixed. This was a much longer video than I was expecting. We're about at 30 minutes. I apologize, but there's so many nerfs and buffs and things, and it just took for freaking ever to go through all of it. But anyways, that's what's going on with the update. There's a lot going on. There's some good stuff. There's probably some bad stuff. I think most of the nerfs and stuff aren't going to be that bad. Some of the buffs are really cool, but I think that's going to wrap up the video. Don't forget to drop down the video's description or check out the pinned comment for some ways to help support the channel, plus some news and info and stuff like that. Thank you to all my channel members. I appreciate you guys big time. If you want to become one, just hit the little join button right below the video to join and become a channel member. And yeah, don't forget to use my code on the web shop if you buy something over there. Lightning out. Have a great day, and we will catch you next time. See ya.